It's good to be here. Let's pray. Oh God, you made everything. You know everything. Thank you for bringing us here. Thank you for what you gave us. In your name, amen. Okay, I'd like to read from Psalms 19. Heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day they pour forth speech. Night after night they display knowledge. There is no speech or language where their voice is not heard. Their voice goes out into all the earth, their words to the end of the world. In the heavens he has pitched a tent for the sun, which is like a bridegroom coming forth from his pavilion, like a champion rejoicing to run its course. It rises at one end of the heavens and makes its circuit to the other. Nothing is hidden from its heat. The law of the Lord is perfect, reviving the soul. The statutes of the Lord are trustworthy, making wise simple. Precepts of the Lord are right, giving joy to the heart. The commands of the Lord are radiant, giving light to the eyes. The fear of the Lord is pure, enduring forever. The ordinances of the Lord are sure and altogether righteous. They are more precious than gold, than much pure gold. They are sweeter than honey from the honeycomb. Okay. So what does that have to do with the stars and everything like that? Okay. Well, what I find that psalm, basically the psalmist assumes God exists and everything, but the creation is talking about God. Okay. How can it not be talking about God? How can it say, or it simply says God exists, God is great. And the second part, where it talks about the law of the Lord being perfect. Okay. Now, you might think the law of the Lord, how do we, the Ten Commandments, stuff like that, how do we act with each other? So there's a spiritual aspect, there's a moral aspect, but I also like to, as a scientist, like to think of the laws, the physical laws that God gave us, or that God used. Okay? I'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, so the first part, it talks about the sun like a bridegroom or a strong runner or something like that. Look at the physical things that we see in the universe. Okay. So I look up in the sky, you see the moon, and I'm always amazed at how it changes. So you look at it tonight, you look at it tomorrow night, it's going to look very different. Moves through the sky, the sun goes through the sky, the stars move through the sky. You look at the above. If it's nice and dark, you can see this light cloud going more or less from north to south, Milky Way. Okay. And if you're nowhere to look, you can see a few other galaxies like the Milky Way that are even further. And what for me is so amazing is how big things are, how far away things can be. Okay, now, I'm not going to talk about life and biology and stuff like that, where things can be really, really small. Also amazing, but if you look at the amazing things like how big the Earth is, how far away the sun is, and so on, things get really far away. Some of the galaxies people have seen, or been able to see with telescopes, are so far away that they were like billions of years ago when they were around. Okay? The light that went from that galaxy to here, for some of them, are billions of years, up as long as 12 billion years ago. Okay, is when the light left. And I think, God, how did you do this? What's going on? How can such a person or being make such a huge creation? Also, I like to look at things just for the beauty of it. Okay. Even you think, well, look up and you see the clouds and they're fun to look at, or the rainbow or whatever. But if you look, there are lots of other things that you can see that are really beautiful. Okay? One that I like right now is in the sky after sundown. If you look about 9:30, something like that, if you look in the south, in the east pretty much, you'll see a beautiful constellation. It's called Orion. Do you know what that looks like? It's a group of stars. It's called the Hunter Orion. And just below it, a little further down, is Orion's dog called Sirius. Okay? One of the stars is the brightest star in the sky, called Sirius. And if you look about 9:30 or something like that, you'll see Sirius twinkle. Okay, which is what stars do, but it won't just twinkle, it'll twinkle in color. So you'll see it red and then blue and then green, and it'll blink on and off in different colors. Okay. Which for me is, I think that's beautiful. Okay, laws of the Lord. Okay, so like I said, 10 commandments, stuff like that. But I also think of physical laws. Okay, and if you're in my class, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. It's interesting. We built up this system of math, and it describes physical laws very well, what happens. Okay? And the amazing thing is, these laws make everything work. Okay? So I'd like to write down a couple laws. Okay. You people in physics have just suffered through and talked about gravity. Okay? And 300 years plus ago, people were able to write down a law for gravity. Okay? And it looks like this. There is a force between any two things in the universe. Okay? And it's given by this formula. It's some number. This is just a number like pi is 3.14. This is just a number, something like that, times the size of each object. Okay? Divided by the distance between them squared. Okay? For everything. Okay? So Jim and Seth are sitting beside each other. They're attracted to each other by gravity. Okay? You're attracted to the person on each side of you. Not very much, but there's an attraction. Okay? You don't notice until you get to have things that are big, like you and the earth. Okay? So if you jump off the building, you're going to fall, right? This is the rule. Okay? That's what makes that happen. Moon goes around the earth. This is a rule that governs that. Okay? Earth around the sun. That's a rule. Sun through the Milky Way galaxy. That's a rule. Okay? So for me, it's an amazing rule. It's a very simple formula, but it's very powerful because it describes all kinds of stuff. Okay? We can put people on the moon or satellites to visit Pluto or something. This is a rule we use. Okay? So for me, it's really an amazing thing. Okay? And so it says, any two objects in the universe, anywhere, so me and the sun, or me and the star in the next galaxy, this rule works, okay? So we find it works for everything. Another rule is for electricity. Okay? So you have two electric charges. Okay? And you see me take balloons in class and I rub my hair and then I hold them together and push each other apart. Okay? There's a rule for that. Okay? In some ways it looks the same, but in some ways it's different. Okay? So the force in it is some constant, again, like this is. It's not the same number, times the charge. Okay? And we write charge with a Q, two different charges, divided by the distance squared. Okay? So it looks a lot like this in that you have some constant, r squared. Here you have a charge instead of that. Okay? But then it's more complicated. Here, gravity always attracts things. Here, if charges are the same, they'll push each other apart. If they're opposite, they'll attract, so it's more complicated. Okay? Again, a very simple rule governs many very complicated things. Okay? In chemistry, we talk about atoms. Okay? An atom is made with a nucleus in the center, which is positive, electrons going around the outside. This is the rule they follow. Okay? And it's been that way since forever. Whether we think about it or not. So to me, I ask, who created these rules? Who created these laws? These are laws of physics. Where did they come from? Okay. And at this point, okay, one of the questions is, so we have this immense creation. Where did it come from? Okay. And there's sort of two different camps. Okay. You have people that believe in God and religion, and they say God created it. Okay. And then there are the atheists who say it just there's this big bang and everything just popped into existence from nothing. Okay? And there's a very good reason for that, okay? Because astronomers look at the stars and they see that the universe is getting bigger and bigger, that the stars are flying away from us. Okay? Not the close ones, you know, but if you look at galaxies further and further away, you find that they're moving away from us faster and faster. Okay? If you run it backwards in time, okay, you'll say 12 billion years ago, it all came from one spot. So there's one explosion a long time ago, okay, which is labeled the Big Bang, although for whatever reason. Okay. So the people who doesn't believe in God says, well, there was this Big Bang a long time ago. Everything came into existence, just popped into existence. Okay. And the person that doesn't believe in God will ask the person who believes in God, where did God come from? If God made everything, where does God come from? Okay. I don't have any good answer for that. All right? You know, and the classic answer I got when I was sitting in your place in Bible class was, well, God existed forever. Well, that doesn't make sense. At least it doesn't for me. Okay? So, I don't have a good answer for that. Where does God come from? Where does everything come from? Okay, I don't know. On the other hand, the person who believes in the Big Bang and says there is no God, asks them the same question. Where does the Big Bang come from? Okay? From nothing, or what happens? All right? And so it gets kind of complicated. And it turns out both sides don't know the answer. Where does everything come from? I have no idea. Okay? As a scientist who believes in the Big Bang, I don't know where it came from. As a Christian who believes in God, I don't know where it came from. Okay? Either side, to me, it's a question you can't answer. Okay? An argument for God. Okay? If you have the Big Bang, there is no God, everything just happened to come into existence. Okay? These forces, these rules, okay, however they came here, just happen to come out just like this. Okay? So why is there a rule that says everything is attracted to everything else by gravity? And then there's a force of electric force between things like this. Okay? If you change this rule by just a little bit, okay, maybe you made this number a little bit bigger, gravity would be stronger. Or maybe you made this number a little bit bigger, the electric force would be stronger. Okay? What would be the consequences of that? The ultimate consequence is we would not exist. Okay? If the electric forces were a little stronger, all of chemistry would fall apart as we know it. Okay? For example, if this were a little bit bigger, this force was stronger, the protons in the nucleus would make the nucleus fall apart, so all the atoms would be radioactive, they'd disintegrate. Okay? And even a small change in this would change chemistry so much that minerals and life and things like that, all the reactions we know would not be the same. Okay? So my argument is this: if the universe just popped into existence, what's the chance that these numbers, and there are about half a dozen numbers like this in relativity and other things, what's the chance of those numbers coming out just right? Okay? You know, some people calculated, there's no way to say that, but essentially in my mind it's impossible. You can't do that. Somebody, someplace had to think, I'm going to make gravity this strength, electricity this strength, and so on to make it work. Okay? If it doesn't, then it's all going to fall apart. Okay? So the person that's over here doesn't believe in God and says, well, everything just popped into existence. Okay? The way they get around this is they say, well, our universe has everything working. Okay? But there are other universes where these numbers aren't the same and it doesn't work. Okay? So some of you guys shaved this morning, which I didn't do, but anyway, you have shaving cream, right? You have this foam of stuff, okay? Think of each little bubble as a universe, okay? And that's sort of the model that people have. You have lots and lots of universes, billions upon billions of universes, each one with its own set of rules, okay? We're the lucky ones, okay? Which is really a coincidence, okay? How can that be? Okay, and in my mind, it's almost impossible. Okay, and it's not like they were just created a long time ago. They're being created right now. Okay, in fact, if you want to really push it to the limit, there are universes being created inside your hand right now that you're not even aware of. Okay? We can't see outside of our universe into other universes. Okay? So that's sort of what happens. So atheist doesn't believe in God, has to, that's one of the conclusions that people come up with, okay? And there are continually new universes being produced all the time, because if our universe popped into existence for whatever reason, why not everybody else? Okay? So anyway, I'm at the point of saying God created our universe, and maybe there are other universes, I don't know. I can't prove where God came from. You can't prove where all these other universes came from. Okay? So anyway, that's sort of where I'm at this point. I'd like to finish a little bit. Mennonite Confession of Faith, 1995, which is what Mennonites go back to, pretty much says God created everything from nothing. Okay? God is in control. God ordered things the way they are. Okay? So in my mind, God didn't just make people and the stuff that we, the building here, and the materials we're with, but also God made these rules, how they work with each other. Without those rules, our universe would fall apart. So, do we have time for questions? Anybody questions?